Hi, today we're going to go over cash flow and a possible cash flow crisis and why contractors go broke even when busy. If you've ever had a week where you went, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money for payroll. I'm going to have to take it out of my personal savings or take a cash advance from my credit card or even use my business savings. That could be a cash flow crisis. Covering cash gaps with your credit cards or your savings then is just eating into your profits because now you're taking money from prior jobs and you're going to be using it for a current job. That is using profits from prior months to pay for the current month. And I'm not talking about just a little bit of cash management because you haven't got a deposit in from some job and you're buying materials for it. I'm talking about true cash gaps. One bad month of slow payers or not having enough residual income and that can actually destroy your business. You can actually have to close your doors if you cannot pay your employees or buy your materials. So grab a pen, grab a paper, grab something to drink. I'm Lynette. I'm going to be your host. I'm the founder of ATPROS Inc. And let's get started. I've been in the industry for about 32 years. And I've worked with a lot of specialty trade contractors. And one of the biggest hurdles that my clients have ever had to go through is cash flow crisis. Basically, meaning that they have some jobs coming up and there are expenses that are up front. And there's just not enough cash to cover the week or the job or the materials, the labor, whatever they need to pay. So we run into a problem. And especially if it's a newer business or a new client of mine, they don't really have a plan in place. So I'm hoping that this will help you plan for a little bit of better future for your business to make sure that you have the cash on hand that you need to be able to operate your business, even when things are super busy or you have a lot of money outstanding or you're still waiting on deposits on estimates. And this way you can keep your employees working as well as keep your insurance and your rents and everything like that paid also on time. So the title of this is Cash Flow Crisis, Why Contractors Go Broke Even When They Are Busy. And very important, one of the most important things that you'll ever learn about your business. So real quick quote, because I like to include those. Running a business or running busy doesn't mean running profitable. It means you haven't hit the wall yet. So just because you're busy, it does not mean that you're profitable. You can have $1 million in sales and still only net 5% and still not even make enough money to cover your own wages. So let's go ahead and get started. This is going to apply to all contractors and especially my smaller specialty trade contractors. Those are going to be the ones that run between $500,000 and $2.5 million. You may think that you're not a small contractor, but it just takes one job to really hurt your business. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So what it is and why it'll cost you. So imagine this is what it is. Money going out faster than it comes in. You have labor, you have overhead, you have employee benefits, you have office staff, you have insurance and vehicles, and you might have repairs on the vehicles. You might have a truck that breaks down. You got to rent one, etc., etc. Payroll is due Friday. Payment won't arrive for 30 days. You will have a payment outstanding from somebody for that final payment. Maybe you're waiting for an inspection. Maybe you're waiting for one small piece of equipment to just finalize that job, but you're not going to get that payment for 30 days. But your employees have worked. Your bills are still due. What do you do? You're floating the difference on a credit card and you're paying the interest on every dollar. And I don't know what the interest rates are, but the last I've seen, they could range anywhere from 10% to over 30% interest on a credit card. So be careful with those interest rates because that will eat into your profit. 30% is possibly more than what you even charge in your increase on your materials. You may be busy on paper, but you're broke at the bank. Meaning that you may have deposits, you may even have cash in the bank, but there's not any kind of it's all just coming in and going out, coming in and going out. And at the end, if you were to stop your business today, how much money would be left in the bank after you paid all your bills? If the answer is less than what you started with, and when you started your business, there could be a cash flow issue. So why it matters right now. So cash flow gaps don't care how many jobs you booked. If you have a cash flow issue, you're always going to have a cash flow issue unless you make change. One slow customer, one emergency expense, like I said, one bad month can hurt the business. The business that you've worked years to build can be gone in 1 month if you are not planning correctly. This kills contractors who look successful from the outside, but they're crumbling and failing on the inside only because they don't have a plan in place on those months that, even though they're busy, there's just not enough revenue coming in to pay out their expenses. So this is the difference that one decision makes. So let's take Jake, the HVAC contractor. He has a company. He bills $40,000 a month. He invoices net 30. By week 3, he's drawing into his personal savings to make payroll. His credit card balance is $12,000 and climbing because he has to keep using that to buy materials for the next job or whatnot. With a plan, Jake, the HVAC contractor, he switches to a 50% upfront deposit and same week invoicing, meaning that the payment should really be paid when the job is done or with a small grace period. In 60 days, the credit card hits zero. He's paid it off in full. He builds a $10,000 cash buffer without working more hours. That cash buffer is going to be his working capital. That's going to allow him to buy things in advance for the next job. Even if you require 50% upfront deposit, it may not be enough to cover all the materials. That cash buffer is going to be more than enough, hopefully, to pay for that. If it is not enough, then you definitely want to have more than $10,000 cash buffer. I always say 3 to 6 months in the bank of your actual expenses to take care of payroll, overhead, everything, and that is what you use as your working capital. It takes time to build that, but the point is to learn and to continue to build it and then use it only for emergencies and only when needed, and then replenish it when you can. So some warning signs. If any of these sound familiar to you, it could be costing you money and time. We don't want to work for nothing. So this is where the money and time comes in. You use your personal accounts to cover business expenses on a regular basis. You pay suppliers late every single month just to stay afloat. You don't take advantage of any kind of discounts or anything because you just can't. You avoid looking at your bank balance during slow stretches when you just don't want to know. You're covering your eyes. And unfortunately, that's not the way to run a business. You've borrowed against credit cards to make payroll. I've even seen new clients that had equity loans against their homes that are funding their business. There is a way to do this if you are doing it properly. So what to fix? So I have a proposition for you. I want you to commit to a 90-day cash flow reset. And you could start that today. You could start that this week. So require 30 to 50% deposits on every job, no exceptions. It does not matter if they're a family friend, a friend of a friend, or anything. Require that. That's just mandatory. You also pass that on to all of your techs. Any job requires 30 to 50% deposit, every job. No exclusions. Invoice immediately upon job completion on that same day. You can send it via email, have it printed out somehow, have it ready for the client, something, but have that invoice in hand. Going back to the office and maybe sending it out tomorrow, well, the person that you are actually trying to get the money from may have that same thing like, oh, I'll get to it next week or whatever. Send that invoice that same day. If possible, collect payment that same day. Your techs should all have access to Swipe or something through a iPad or something that they can accept payments right then on the spot. A check if you have it, or some kind of wire transfer, something, but they need to do it that day. Open a separate reserve account. This is the most important thing. So all businesses should have a savings account, and it should be considered your cash reserve. This should not be your taxes. This should not be your payroll. This is a savings account that is only for working capital. It's okay to have payroll accounts and savings accounts, but this is a working or a tax account. This is a working capital account only. This is going to be your rainy day fund. This is going to be your emergency fund. This is going to be we can afford to take that project because we have the funds. But it's very important to do that. Even if you start this week with $100 in it, you at least started something, and you should try and figure out what the allocation should be for every single job that you take a deposit on, every single job that you finish, how much goes into that work in progress. You can almost say that that's kind of your profit, but then once you get it started in that, you'll see how fast it'll grow. After you get paid, your employees get paid, all your bills are paid, and that money that's sitting in there is going to be set up for your next job. And also make sure you allocate towards your payroll accounts and your tax accounts, etc. But there should be enough for all the pots, you can say. Review your accounts receivable aging every Friday morning. If it is not looking better, if there's anything going past 30 days, you have to delegate that responsibility to someone to start making phone calls and collecting on that money. You have to do it. If you do it yourself, that's fine, but it is better for you to focus on building your business rather than working in that part of the business. You can delegate that responsibility to someone else to do your collections for you, to see when they're going to pay it. Make sure that the people are aware that they had signed a contract that said that the payment was due within X amount of days, and hold them accountable, and make sure that you follow up with your person that you set that up to do for you, that you are getting some feedback from them. They should give you a report every Friday on what the receivables are and who owes you and what they said when they called, either if they left a message or something. But there should be some kind of communication with the clients that have you finalized. And this, of course, would not be for anybody that you're waiting for, retainage or some final inspection or something like that. This is going to be people that are completed and owe you the money today. Automate your payment reminders with invoicing software. That's another thing you could do too. You can have it to where it automatically sends out that same invoice within 3 days, 7 days, 15 days, 20 days, every day, whatever you need to do to get that payment sent. I do like having someone call first. I feel like it's more personal, and sometimes you get that payment right then over the phone and you can process it, and that in-person touch sometimes will get a little bit more of a reaction. After that, yes, you could do automated, or you could do both. I recommend actually both. If they owe you money, they owe you money, and you don't want to either lose the money or have to go to small claims or anything. So it's easier to collect in the first week or so than it is to collect after 2 months. So this is the take action today. You are going, or I really want to know if you're going to implement anything this week. If you are, put it in the comment bar. And there is also a PDF handout, and the PDF handout is going to be a little bit more detail about this topic. It might be a little bit more information, and hopefully it helps you. And if you do have a specific question or any other topics that you want to hear in the future, leave that in the comment bar too, or in the comment area. I do try and reach out to anybody who emails me or leaves a comment or anything like that. If you need to email me personally, I am available for you. You can reach out through my website at atprosinc.com. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for more business builder tips for small business and contractors and specialty trade contractors. We're here for you. If you have any questions, concerns, or anything like that, please let me know. And be sure to get that downloadable guide that will cover the topic a little bit more. It is absolutely free. There's no obligation. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.